All empires follow the same cycle, according to 20th century historian John Glubb. After studying 3,000 years of history, Glubb observed that every great civilization goes through 6 distinct stages before its decline. Let's break them down. But first, who was John Glubb? Sir John Bagot Glubb was a British soldier and author who served as the commanding general of Transjordan's Arab Legion from 1939 to 1956. Later in life, he turned his focus to geopolitics and world history, writing about the patterns he saw in the rise and fall of empires. His 1978 work, The Fate of Empires and the Search for Survival, presents a fascinating argument that all empires, no matter their era or technology, follow a remarkably similar life cycle. From studying 11 major civilizations, Glubb found that empires tend to last about 250 years, roughly 10 human generations. While there are exceptions, the pattern is striking. Glubb writes, "In spite of the accidents of fortune and the apparent circumstances of the human race at different epochs, the periods of duration of different empires show a remarkable similarity. This pattern holds true, regardless of whether an empire fought with swords or cannons. The Assyrians marched on foot and fought with spears. The British used artillery, railways, and ocean-going ships, yet the two empires lasted for approximately the same periods." So, what are the 6 stages of an empire? 1. The Age of Pioneers. The outburst. This is the birth of an empire. A small, often overlooked nation bursts onto the world stage with energy, courage, and creativity. These pioneers are usually poor, tough, and aggressive, unbound by traditions and willing to experiment. If one method fails, they simply try another. A great example is Macedon in the 4th century. Before Philip II, it was a minor state north of Greece. But within just 36 years, thanks to Philip and his son Alexander the Great, Macedon's empire stretched from the Danube to India. 2. The Age of Conquests. As the empire gains strength, it enters the Age of Conquests. Military campaigns become more organized and professional. This is the era of expansion, filled with confidence and optimism. Conquerors often see the cultures they overtake as weak and decadent. Leaders rely on improvisation, not formal education in politics or tactics. Their lack of tradition allows them to experiment boldly. 3. The Age of Commerce. With land and power secured, trade flourishes. Resources, goods, and ideas flow freely across the empire. But here's the shift. While military glory still matters, the public's focus starts to turn toward making money. The honor culture of conquest gives way to a mercantile mindset. Glubb writes, "During the military period, glory and honor were the principal objects of ambition. To the merchant, such ideas are but empty words, which add nothing to the bank balance." 4. The age of affluence. Wealth piles up, and comfort becomes the goal. Young people, once driven by a desire for fame or service, now chase cash above all. Empires in this phase start avoiding conflict, not by fighting enemies, but by buying them off. Glubb observes, "Subsidies instead of weapons are employed to buy off enemies. Military readiness is denounced as primitive and immoral. Civilized peoples are too proud to fight." 5. The Age of Intellect. In this stage, intellectual and scholarly pursuits rise. Universities flourish, and academic honors become the new ambition. But this era often overlaps with decline. Instead of unifying around military strength or shared purpose, energy shifts toward endless debate and theoretical solutions. Glubb reflects on his own time. When these nations were at the height of their glory, Harvard, Yale, Oxford, and Cambridge seemed to meet their needs. Now, almost every city has its university. 6. The Age of Decadence. Finally comes the Age of Decadence, marked by internal division, materialism, and a sense of pessimism. Key symptoms include internal conflicts and civil strife, an influx of foreigners, growing frivolity and entertainment obsession, expanding welfare states, declining religious faith, a defensive mindset. Instead of sacrificing for the nation, citizens turn cynical. They argue endlessly, but solve nothing. Glubb paints a grim picture. Amid a babble of talk, the ship drifts onto the rocks. He warns that cleverness alone cannot save an empire. There are times when the perhaps unsophisticated self-dedication of the hero is more essential than the sarcasms of the clever. The Byzantine Empire is a prime example, torn apart by internal conflict as the Ottomans approached. Foreigners, Glubb argues, also contribute to disunity. It's not about superiority or inferiority of races, but the simple fact that too much cultural diversity can erode solidarity. In his time, Glubb noted the influx of migrants to Britain's crumbling empire. In London today, Cypriots, Greeks, Italians, Russians, Africans, Germans, and Indians jostle one another on the buses and in the underground, so that it sometimes seems difficult to find any British. Lastly, decadence breeds frivolity, a live-for-today mindset. Let us eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. According to Glubb, empires fall when citizens stop believing anything is worth saving. What can we learn from Glubb's theory? Glubb believed we need to study history, not just through the lens of individual nations, but as a global pattern. He concluded, if we studied calmly and impartially the history of human institutions and development over these 4,000 years, should we not reach conclusions which would assist to solve our problems today? So the big question is, where are we now? Are we in the age of affluence? Or have we already entered the age of decadence? Let me know what you think. Are we repeating history or breaking free from this cycle? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into history and society.